I mean, you talked about the ABCs of getting present in your body. And can you talk about the 4 F's of an emotional response? Since we're doing ABCs, let's go into the 4 F's of the emotional response.
You know, can I just
the 4 F's?
The 4 F's. This reminds me. This is
got it.
Sorry.
This is let me just say, I had this. I have 2 brothers, so there's 3 of us, and my one of my dad's best friends, and we'd go vacation with him every year. And the one day we walk up the steps, the 3 of us together, and my dad's friend goes, "Oh, look at the Off brothers." And I was like, they're like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, jerk, check, and fuck." It just anyway. Sorry, I
don't know how we got here. How did we get to this?
I don't know either.
You know what?
Anyway,
it's 4 F's.
3 F's, 4 F's. Close. Right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That reminded. No, it's good. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, thanks, John. You said that, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And then I realized it's another one of those ones. Like, "Oh yeah, I wrote that."
You wrote that.
Yeah, you did write that. You did write that.
Got it. So the 4 F's. This is what I found over years of actually, being in my own body and watching myself with this, but also working with other people. So when we have an emotion, most people have one of 3, I would say, common responses. The 4th one's the not common one. So the first one is figure it out. If I'm suddenly feeling an emotion, my brain tells me, oh, if I can figure out why this is happening, I can make it stop. So this is where that conceptual self-awareness can come in and kind of get you stuck in rumination, right? Like you feel something intense, you're sad maybe, and instead of feeling the sadness, you think about it. Well, why am I sad? What, who made this starting to happen, and when did that, all that. Thinking about it, you're not actually feeling the feeling. You're trying to figure it out. So that's 1 F, figure it out. 2nd F is fix it. If I can figure out why I'm having this feeling, and I can fix something externally to stop this feeling from happening, then I'll do that. So for example, if there's something about your job that you're really unhappy about, rather than feeling the unhappiness, you'll try and get out of that particular project or leave the job altogether. Like the way that we do some of these knee-jerk, I'm out sort of things, or I'm gonna reconstruct this, or I'm gonna control you because your behavior is making me feel this way. So if I can get you to stop that, then I don't have to feel this way. Mm-hmm. So fixing it is another way that we tend to try and manage emotions. The 3rd F, to your prior joke, is fuck it, which is if I can't figure it out and I can't fix it, then fuck it. Like it's not important. It's where we pretend. You could also, for the the non cussers, you could say fool yourself. Fool yourself. Like it doesn't bother me. That doesn't matter. And you kind of put it into this place of like, that's stupid. I don't have to get upset about that. But when in reality, it really does matter, and it really is bothering you. The 4th F is feel it. Pretty much nobody does that. Like that's usually, even as someone who teaches this stuff, it is not usually my first go-to when an emotion comes up. I usually try to do one of the other 3 first before I eventually go, oh, I could just feel this. Like I could actually just let it in that right now I'm sad, or right now I'm super scared, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where those practices come into being, because all those ABCs that I talked about, they're what's called a felt resource. And the idea behind a felt resource is that it gives you an experience of yourself in the present moment, and 2, a layer of experience that is neutral or pleasant. So what that does is, if you're having an unpleasant emotion happening, and you can also feel your feet on the ground, the feet on the ground for most people is neutral, maybe even pleasant. So if you have one layer of your experience that doesn't suck, you have a container. You have a container for whatever is uncomfortable. And that's what those ABCs or felt resources eventually do, is they create one felt connection to something in your body in a real-time present moment that isn't awful, that could help you be resourced. And one more thing about that, I'll say, traditionally, breath is not considered a felt resource, which I found really fascinating when I first learned it. Because for a lot of people, breath is the way that they calm themselves and kind of get present. For a lot of people, it's really hard and they can't do it. When you're super emotionally activated, for many people, myself included, breath isn't my doorway in. Breath makes it harder for me to, like, if I try and take a deep breath and I can't, then I feel even more anxious. Like, shit, it must be really bad if I can't breathe.
Wow.
Right? But the natural consequence of any of those other practices, like feel your feet on the ground or shake or look around the room, the natural consequence of those is that you do tend to start breathing again. So for any of your listeners who have forever and ever been like, man, breathing is really hard way for me to get present, then try one of the other ways, because it will help you get to the breath without it feeling like you're hitting a brick wall.
Nice.